Yo, what's up? Today's video is on something that most people have probably heard of, but not a lot of people understand the technical side of power to weight ratio. Power to weight ratio basically it determines how fast a bike is, how hard it pulls. It's the reason why some small bikes can keep up with really big bikes. We'll go through some more specifics on this and explain power to weight ratio. So, what is power to weight ratio? It's as simple as it sounds. It's about how much power your bike puts out compared to the weight of your bike. It's basically saying I have this much horsepower and I have to push this much mass. So two bikes with the same horsepower, lighter bike, faster. All right, so simple math. You have 50 horsepower and a 400-pound bike. Divide 50 by 400, you're going to get 0.125. That's going to be your horsepower per pound. And that's how you'll compare bikes. So if you have a 100 horsepower bike and it weighs 600 pounds, divide 100 by 600, and then you get your magic horsepower per pound number. And that's going to determine which bike is faster, essentially. So here's a few real world examples. The Ninja 400, 44 horsepower, about 360 pounds. A ZX-6R, which is 125 horsepower and 425 pounds, almost triple the power for not adding that much more weight. Jump up, you have ZX-10R, which is 200 horsepower, around 450 pounds, which is basically a rocket. And this is why these big bikes pull like crazy, because there's very little weight on a lot of horsepower. We're going to real quick do some math here, and then we're also going to compare this to certain vehicles that people would consider relatively fast cars for stock cars. Now Ninja 400, 0.134. For our ZX-6R, 0.307. And then going from the 6R to the 10R, 0.45. Look up a couple specs on some more popular sports cars. So let's start with like a Hellcat. And that gives us 0.175. ZL1, 0.166. I have to add in a few things if you want to make this fair, because right now this is, if we're comparing Hellcat to ZX6R, we're talking no rider and no driver. So we have to account for a rider. That's going to make a way bigger difference on the motorcycle. So let's say it's me. We're going to add 165 to both of these. Our new number of 0.223. And if we take our Hellcat, 169. Our ZX6R is still beating the Hellcat in terms of horsepower per foot. That's with my rider weight. Obviously, if you weigh more, this number here is going to get a lot lower. But it bridges the gap a little bit closer. So the ZR1, this will be a good competitor in this group, is going to be horsepower per pound ratio of 0.255. So now we're just above the ZX6R. So now let's compare that to our ZX-10R with a rider of my weight on it. So it might be a little confusing, but you can kind of see how these compare to some sports cars. There's going to be other things to take into account. It's going to be things like aerodynamics, traction, obviously rider skill or driver skill is going to be a big factor. So a lot of people get carried away with horsepower, but horsepower doesn't necessarily tell you how fast a bike is going to be or how hard it's going to pull, which is why a really light 400 or 650 is going to feel really punchy and fun, because you're not lugging around a ton of weight on that little bit of horsepower. And on the flip side of that, a 1200cc cruiser might have a ton of horsepower, but weighs as much as 4 full refrigerators. It's not going to have that much pull. It's not going to feel that fast. Now, power to weight ratio doesn't just change how the bike accelerates, it also changes how the bike handles, how the bike feels, how the whole bike rides. Low weight is going to be easier handling. High power and low weight is going to be like instant acceleration. It's going to be super fun, but demands a ton of respect. This is when rider skill becomes a huge factor, because the lighter the bike and the more horsepower, you start to get in a category where skill means a ton. I mean, anybody can ride a heavy bike with low horsepower, but when you start flipping that scale a little bit, you got to have a little bit more skill to control something like that. And so the fun part about this is you can actually improve your power to weight ratio by doing things like upgraded exhaust. Going to give you more power, having your bike tuned, ECU flash, new intake. All of these are going to increase your power. And then if you want to reduce your weight, get lighter weight fairings, go to a lithium battery, remove unnecessary accessories, lighter wheels. You go with carbon wheels if you really wanted to reduce some weight. Also, if you weigh a little bit, maybe losing a little bit of weight, it's going to also increase your power to weight ratio, because your weight is included in that. You don't need a turbo. Even small changes can make the bike feel more alive. So that's basically my simple-ish explanation on power to weight ratio. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Also, let me know what bike you're riding right now. If you like this video, found this helpful, click the thumbs up. If you don't want to miss out on future content, support the channel by clicking that subscribe button, and check out my website, links in the description if you want giveaways, exclusive content, and be the first to know when new things drop and fun stuff happens, different events and stuff like that. Check out the link in my description of my website. Join our little group. Anyways, thanks for watching. Ride safe.